Welcome everybody to the holiday episode where we're going to rapid fire go through altcoins that I think have major upside in the next 30 days. Now, I want to put huge caveats on this, that this is risky business, and I do not want to see people jumping into the deep end of these waters unless they know the risk they are assuming. For those that are the OGs and the pros that are ready, that are battle tested, then you're going to love today's episode because I'm going to give my outlook on the next 30 days. If you're here, it means you survived the great dumping of December 2021, and that makes you a little bit better at crypto. Now, of course, during these ups and downs, we see wild fluctuations in sentiment, in price, in community numbers, rather. We see viewership fluctuate. We see the amount of engagement fluctuate. We see the belief and hope and emotion fluctuate. And these are the key things that you need to essentially learn to eliminate if you want to be really good at crypto. A lot of the best people that I know that have had the most success, essentially what they do better than anyone else is they block out the emotion. We're going to talk about all these strategies and more. But first, I'm going to dive in and shout out some people because we are having a holiday episode here. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas to everyone across the land. And what would it be? What would Christmas and the holidays be if I didn't have a little bit of holiday cheer and giveaways? So everybody do me a favor. Actually, let me go to the other one first. I just tweeted this. I'm going to be giving away $1,000. So go ahead and retweet and comment ho, ho, ho for a chance to win $1,000 in ETH. And of course, what I need everyone to do right now is smash that like button because we're going to be going through a ton of projects that I'm super excited about. Some you know, some you might not know. And in reality, I think that this timing is perfect because if you missed the last wave, if you missed the big buildup, and let me actually jump in here and show it. But if you missed the big buildup that we had back when, let's just say in the summertime, when crypto was really boring, if you missed this moment here in the summer, what you see is that we had this massive bearish period, and then we started picking back up, and we had these moments where it showed that the market had strength. Maybe this little explosion is like right here in the June 15th, and we still have more downside. That's not really the issue for me. What it feels like to me, though, is that the downside is going to be similar to what we saw over the summer, meaning that this is a bullish reaccumulation. That's my base case. Of course, I could be proven wrong. I'm just a person here, but I have a strong conviction in what this market is doing. And I also have a new rule, which I've been explaining for the last few months, which is in allergy, a complete immunity to news-induced dumps in the market. So if you guys can relate to this, that every time we've seen, the energy FUD and then, the China mining ban rather. And then we see here, we got the some regulatory crackdown news here. And then here we see that we got, the recent FUD from the Fed. And all of these things seem to be pretty baked into price action. And the tantrum from the market seems to be, essentially more or less neutralized within a short amount of time. More or less, or also what I want to add to this, because I'm about to dive in here, is that Crown did an amazing job showing how these market cycles are really parodying themselves, where you had about 2 to 3 months at the top here in April, 2 to 3 months at the bottom here throughout the summer. Then we had, about a 12-day top here, about another 12-day top here. We had about a month up here or so. And so it looks like we're going to spend a month down here. This type of thing actually supports a theory that I published back on my channel in the summertime, where I said, were we wrong about the 4-year cycles? Now, 4-year cycles are without a doubt the topic that everybody wants to know the most about. Because if the 4-year cycle is to hold true, that would mean that we should go bearish very soon. But I believe that not only are we throwing out the macro cycle, but we might actually be seeing this tightening effect on what I threw out a theory called the micro cycle. Now, it's just a theory, but essentially the idea is that these cycles are getting tighter and tighter to the point where we might just end up in a gradual, I guess it's this way, a gradual uptrend, right? So before I dive in here, because I have so many coins, as you can see at the top, I have so many coins I'm going to go through. Right now we have, almost 2,600 people, and there's only 900 likes. There's 2,000 of you out there. Please smash that like button. We're coming out here with a long live stream on Christmas in the holiday season, and I'm giving away money, and all I ask is that you smash that like button. Okay. So one of the first things I want to talk about here is that I did this treasure hunt. You know, a lot of people were really, really excited. They were really, really hyped on the idea of Neo Tokyo, and Neo Tokyo is about to do some mega things. But I also wanted to give people a chance to earn their way into amazing communities. So what I did is I did this treasure hunt on my Twitter where I gave away $15,000 to one person with just a series of riddles. I really like this engagement because one of my things is I just really like encouraging smart people and nerdy people to be smart nerds. I think the more smart nerds we have in the world, the better the world is. So my goal is just to sort of encourage people to pay attention and earn stuff. I also launched my own LEO Trades Discord just to give this community a place to interact, share knowledge, and of course, if you're an NFT holder, there's a special chat for you where I hang out there. And I spend some time on the voice chat as well. So this was really fun. Big shout out to Yalu Crypto who solved this, cracked it like an absolute riddler. Absolutely amazing. So big congrats to her with the $15,000 take home prize. But I know what you guys are here for. You guys are here for those nasty altcoin gains, as Becker would say, those dirty red light gains. And to me, I feel like I want to explain what's going on here because it's in these in-between times. It's in these down times where people start, you know, turning their eyes away from the industry, where they start thinking, oh, they made this massive mistake. The world is falling. And that, you know, they were just such fools to have bought into this lie that is crypto. That is the sentiment where you want to be a buyer, right? When we're having up only charts and everybody is overnight becoming a gaming expert, right? And all of a sudden, everyone is in consensus that the market is going up and that Metaverse is the future. We get these blow off tops, these parabolas. And that's usually when you start seeing old contacts getting added to Telegram in mass. That's when you start seeing viewership just go absolutely parabolic on YouTube channels like this. That's when you start seeing prices just get absolutely insane. New launches just going absolutely wild. And when that stuff happens, you have to be prepared to take some profits off the table. And so before we even jump in here, and I screamed about this during the last wave, during the NFT wave, but nonetheless, it doesn't stop it. And maybe this is just something that won't ever stop. But you need to understand that if you're not taking profits once the market gets really, really hot, then you're doing it wrong because there is always, in my opinion, going to be another downside of the market. There's just dips in the future. I don't think we're in a dip-free market anytime soon. So I want to be very, very clear that you want to buy when sentiment is bad and you want to sell when sentiment is really, really good. And the easy way to think about that is the crypto fear and greed index. So buy when people are upset, buy when people are screaming, buy when influencers are getting strung out in the public square and stoned. That's when you want to be buying, right? When there's this horrible, horrible negative sentiment. You want to be selling when the sentiment is amazing. So that's just one thing I want to get in here. And I just want to nail that into your head because a lot of people had the chance, such a big chance to stash away thousands, maybe even tens or hundreds of thousands on the last run. And they didn't because they thought that a 1,000% gain in an already multi-billion-dollar asset like Sandbox was just normal par for the course when they didn't realize that this was a symptom of an overheated market. Now, I also want to talk about calling tops as you know, as a YouTuber, calling tops on specific coins can be very damaging to projects. Saying, hey, I think this project's going to go down, especially when I have a huge community in that coin, it can be very damaging. So I tend not to do that because I don't want to potentially have a bunch of people dump and then it hurts other people. If the market dumps, then the market dumps. But I want you to exercise your own better judgment and learn to take profits. And that's something that I can't teach you. I can't do for you. So these are the things these are the big warnings that I need to put out there before I dive into the coins I like, because a lot of people don't take these pieces of advice. They don't factor these in when the market gets hot and exciting. You just want to see the green numbers, but you don't think about what the red numbers will do to your portfolio. So with that said, with those disclaimers out of the way, and with 3,500 of you beautiful people in the chat, and still almost 2,000 of you that have not liked the video, if you like the video, like the video. Okay, let's dive in. I have a couple of super chats. I just want to make sure I get to them because I always forget these. It's the holidays. You can't ignore a super chat. Curious about your thoughts on arguments over thumbnails. Yeah, this is a great one. Look, here's the deal. In the end, YouTube channels account for some astronomical amount of financial education. And everybody, when the market heats up or in general, wants to hear price targets. So those types of videos and those types of packages oftentimes get astronomically way many more orders of magnitude more clips. Now, there's two ways to go about this. You could either completely ignore it and not use clickbait and not have sort of exciting, high, bright colored thumbnails that get people's attention with titles that they want to see. And then and then the result is that less people watch, right? I'm sure you guys have noticed on my content that oftentimes I don't make short-term price predictions, even though it appears on the thumbnail as if I will. So my sort of belief is that by drawing in the attention of the community and then educating and providing a very well-rounded, nuanced, and detailed strategy that can help manage risk but understand the opportunities, that's what I think does the most good for the industry. I don't think becoming irrelevant and having nuanced titles that just won't get any attention online does the most good, because someone else will step up to fill that void. And so, yeah, I think it's a complex topic, but I think the reality is that YouTube is where everyone's learning about crypto. And if you're not sort of offering people what most people are searching for, then you're going to become irrelevant. You're not actually going to get a chance to educate people who are looking for those things. Oftentimes, the most vulnerable and the most in need of good guidance. And so I believe that this channel has struck a balance between catchy titles and high quality information. And that is the line that I intend to walk. Although I'm not done changing the content on this channel, I actually have a huge change in mind for 2022. I've been really rethinking what the content is going to be on this channel. So you guys are going to see a lot of stuff. This treasure hunt here is just the beginning, of, this treasure hunt here is just the beginning. I'm going to start having a lot of interactive content that's going to allow you opportunities just by engaging with this channel to get ahead and stay ahead. And there's going to be a whole lot there. So it also dovetails nicely with this conversation we had. That's how I feel about it. I have a lot of data to back up what I'm saying. I've made over 1,000 videos here on YouTube. So I think I know a thing or two about how audience receives different types of videos. We have another, okay. So if you guys are going to super chat me about some random small cap coin or project, typically I won't shout that out or read it aloud, just because people tend to take that stuff out of context. So the Chinggis says, the only crypto gem I want for Christmas is you. Big love. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, someone's asking like a very specific super chat question about Neo Tokyo Vaults. I'm gonna not answer that right now because it's too long of an answer, but I'm gonna stay focused. All right, are you guys ready? Are the non-likers, have they stopped lurking and liked? Okay, we're good. We're good. 2.3K likes. We can dive into the content now. Let's do it. Okay. First of all, before I get to specific tickers, I wanted to point out, and it's a good time at the end of the year, because the end of the year just feels like a nice time to sort of wrap up thematic and larger trends. Now, of course, I did scream and yell in December of last year, almost exactly 1 year ago to the day, that NFTs would be absolutely massive in 2021. And I believe the same for 2022. Of course, the type of NFTs that do succeed will change dramatically. However, what we're seeing is an amazing, amazing growth of NFTs as a topic, right? You're seeing NFT searches go absolutely parabolic. Is this because of Bored Ape having all the wrappers? Is this because of the recent debates about Web3? It's hard to say what the exact reason is, but NFTs continue to smash and pound their way into the public eye. And that is amazing. That is amazing. And I do want to point out, for a lot of people that have turned their back on NFTs, that, essentially the theory that I had, which is that effectively there will be good NFTs that have strong enough communities that they would just run out of sellers at some point. The strong hands will hold, or they will buy. And then those NFTs will come back. And so seeing this massive flippening of NFT and crypto for the first time is quite interesting. You can see here they've just flippened with NFT in blue. And that is a trend that you need to keep your eye on. Specifically in Asia, it is going crazy. And so what you need to understand is that NFTs I hold are going to be bigger than crypto itself. And that is because of the nature of their flexibility. This is a big move. This is a big movement. This is a huge movement. And we've only seen the beginnings of it. PFPs are just one very, very early use of this technology. There's going to be so many more, and it's just important that you keep your eyes on it. Don't necessarily, it's not needed for you to do anything about this, but I just want you to be tracking the data, because I did say that while the market starts moving, once it gets boring, it'll probably be another opportunity for NFTs to make a move. Now, we're not in anywhere close to full-blown bull NFT euphoria like we were back in late summer. However, that's not when you want to start paying attention. You want to start watching and paying attention way before then. And there's actually been several instances of NFTs that have done incredibly well. Bored Ape Yacht Club actually flipped for the first time in history CryptoPunks, which is definitely of note. It's something that you definitely want to be tracking, because obviously CryptoPunks were the biggest, baddest, most highly valued NFT collection in history. And to see Bored Ape Yacht Club, which are by all measures outbuilding them, out marketing them, absolutely amazing. Very, very impressive what Bored Ape Yacht Club has done. And so seeing them, I don't think it's currently the case. I think it might have come down a bit, but for a moment they flipped punks. And to me, it's only a matter of time, right? Because Bored Ape is doing a ton of good things. And so this community is one to watch. And as I said, I imagine that Mutant Apes, after their dip down to, I think it was about 3 ETH they dipped down to, Mutant Apes, I said, coming into Coinbase would be one that I would expect to do really well, because it's like you can get your hands on a blue chip, which right now I see no blue chip except for one project, which we'll talk about here, more than Mutant Ape Yacht Club in this sort of OG NFT category. And the Coinbase crowd is probably going to want to get their hands on a more accessible blue chip seeming project. So that's why seeing this floor peak up to 8 was a welcome change. And it supports my theory that some of these NFTs will move positively. Now, of course, does this mean that you should be jumping into NFTs? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying keep your eyes on the trends, because when I started bringing you NFTs in May, that was because I was spotting some wild trends, and it ended up turning into a big snowball. So that could potentially be something you just want to be watching. Just keep your eyes on this section of the market. You don't have to do anything. Now, of course, very excited to see that Neo Tokyo Outer Identities is pushing up at 7 ETH. Now, of course, I wanted to show this. For a lot of people, they don't even understand how Neo Tokyo works. So I think this is a very useful site, Neo Tokyo Tools. For people who don't understand, because there's so many moving pieces of Neo Tokyo, which is what makes it hard to understand, but also what makes it so great, and which is why the values have gone so parabolic, is the game theory. The game theory involved in this NFT set is more significant than, in my opinion, any other, by a wide margin, not by a small margin, but by orders and orders of magnitude, right? So you have a citizen floor of 41, Bored Apes at 51, and then you have a set floor of the unuploaded identities at 43 here. So some combination of these two numbers would give you what the original citizen floor is. Now, of course, based on how much yield you're going to get from, or how much staking rewards you can get from the NFT project, there are different floors, with the highest being a 175 ETH floor, which is almost $1 million, $700,000. So you can see there's a lot of different ways that you could navigate this particular collection. There's also various component parts that people will need to get new citizens, and you can see their various floors here. And then there is the elite floors, which are essentially the top 500 of these of the season 1. And then there's season 2 here, which you can see is 6.9, almost 7. Then we also have the bytes. Let me see if I can make this a little smaller. Then we have the total volumes here. As you can see, 37,000 Ethereum across the collections, and the price of bytes, which is the utility token for minting new identities and other fun stuff. Okay, so if you guys want full breakdown, check out neotokyotools.com. Again, I consider Neo Tokyo the only new blue chip that has really entered in. I love CyberKongs, I love SupDucks, I love them all, but I consider Bored Ape to be the next real blue chip to follow in Bored Ape's footsteps has been Neo Tokyo, and the community is just crazy. For a little bit of an example here, Neo Tokyo is hosting a tournament here on Twitch with front page visibility on Twitch, sponsored by Animoca, G Fuel, and several other extremely high profile sponsors. Right now, we have over $800,000 in prizes committed, and it looks like there will be up to $1 million by the time the tournament goes live, January 8th. Anyone can play in this, and we already have a number of professional gamer streamers with over 20 million eyeballs that plan, or 20 million combined following, that are committed to playing. So lots of crazy stuff going on. Keep your eyes on it. And again, stuff like this that busts into the mainstream. These are the ways that projects can differentiate themselves and do things, to really grow that network effect in the brand of being the Metaverse Builders HQ. Okay. I know what you're saying. I can hear it. I can smell it. Oh, one final thing. I had an honorary NFT that was made for me by the Catalina Whale Mixer, and it was one of the few projects in the last few months that I retweeted, and I also shouted out to the groups I was involved with in Discord. This one just absolutely went bananas, right? It launched at 1 SOL. And its average price right now is 16 SOL. It's had sales as high as, I think, $35,000 and almost 50,000 SOL in total volume, with a floor of 11.8. So keep your eyes on projects like the Catalina Whale Mixer. I don't know if this is a good price or not. It's definitely been very hot, but it's definitely a super cool project, very low supply. And to see a project like this bust out so much on Solana, it just shows you that there are major gains. I mean, when's the last time you saw a coin do 16x, right? That's a massive growth. So that's kind of the opportunities that I'm starting to see, some interesting growth in NFT land. Keep your eyes on NFT land because this stuff is happening. Okay. So let's dive in today and let's talk about what's going on. One, we're seeing a little bounce here. Time for the coins. If you guys are excited for the coins, smash the like button for the coins, because we're going to be talking all about coins, strategy, and ways that I see the market moving. Sushi having a nice little bounce here. Sushi has just been a absolutely miserable chart since pretty much early 2021. We saw a peak here in March, and then since then it's just been sadness. It's been, I don't know if you guys saw that movie Inside Out, but Sushi would be the sadness character. That's what it would be. So this has been sort of the nature of all what we call DeFi 1.0, like the original DeFi majors. But it's starting to feel like there is, a lot of people are starting to talk about these DeFi coins, these DeFi majors having bottomed. I don't know if that's the case, but I know that what we have seen from some of the lesser talked about, but remember, I made a lot of videos about Convex, at least 2 or 3 videos about Convex back in the first crash. And the Convex chart has been absolutely incredible. So while some DeFi has been very rocky, like Sushi, look at this Convex finance chart. And the reason why I like Convex is because look at this. Look at the TVL ratio. The TVL right now is $18.1 billion. Now, of course, I made several videos about how you could farm APY on Convex, and they're paying you in the CVX token. And so if you are making 10% APY, and the token, by the way, when we were covering it, I was covering it right down here at the $2. I was like, guys, look, this is a really good buy. And I covered it a few times, but then we got swept up at NFT land and I just didn't really check back on it. But I had been farming a lot of Convex, and this just shows you that having conviction in some of these more interesting, higher quality DeFi ecosystems. DeFi is not dead. It's not dead. And there are still opportunities like Convex to go, in this case, 20x with amazing yield. And if you are farming these tokens with stable coins, you have almost 0 risk. Obviously, the risk of the protocol being exploited, but not as much directional risk. So what am I trying to say? DeFi feels like it is alive and well if you know where to look. Obviously, we caught Spell and Popsicle and Time. All of those projects by Daniele, we caught those very, very early and brought them to you first. And we're going to continue to unearth trends. So what I'm saying is the point of this segment is not to go ape Convex or Sushi, but just that DeFi's might, there's motion in DeFi, and that DeFi could do really well in the beginning of 2022. I would not be unallocated. I would not be ignorant of DeFi over the next few months, even though I have been less interested in it for the last sort of half of the year, last 2 quarters. Okay, here's just the easy, you guys already know this, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but if you guys, someone's asking if they should buy my ENS name. I haven't bought it. I see it's for sale. I don't know. I just don't like being exploited for my own names. I don't know. Like somebody had eliotrades.com. They tried to sell it to me. Then they ended up coming around and just giving it to me. And now we're friends and we chat and we're buddies. And so I'd much rather have that. And it makes me want to interact with that person as opposed to paying someone some egregious amount of money for my own name. It just doesn't feel right. Anyway, but on to the majors here. So I believe that what we'll see over 2022, just to talk about sort of general cycles, I believe that what we'll see over 2022 is that we will see a very rocky market. I believe we'll see a very rocky market where we see fits and starts. But on the whole, I think we will grind our way up through at least the first half of the year. And I do believe we will see 100K Bitcoin before all of this is said and done. But as you can see, like we only had really one move that was like super parabolic here. And it started here at the end of September, beginning of October. And it went until about, this was really the middle Feb. So we got like a 3-month wave of wild parabola at the end of last year, beginning of this year. And I would say that ever since then, it's just been really a grind. I could see it continuing to be very, very annoying, right? I could see it to be very annoying, but the only way to play this is to have narratives that you understand, that you know why are valuable, and then to have enough conviction to allocate to them while things are looking bad, right? And if you look at this chart, what you see is we have a massive rise, then we have a dump, and it really caught its support here around the low 30,000s, a little fake out below, and then onwards and upwards. Then we had another dump, and it actually caught its support here around, what was this? Around 42. And then we had a pump, and we've caught our support. We did wick down around here, but we've caught our support higher. So we see this, and we actually see that we're in a nice sort of, overall grinding up market. And so this is why, for me, I see a nice, healthy uptrend still in the market. And anything that's been like news induced, like the Fed, like the mining bans, like all these, the energy stuff, the Elon Musk stuff, all that stuff should be kind of like shelved and put aside when price action is really showing you and on-chain metrics are showing you that really the market has a lot of belief in the upside. That's what it really, really feels like. So jumping in now just to tell you, I think something like Solana, something like Terra Luna, which obviously we've been covering very heavily. I haven't covered it as much as it's gone up and away because I feel like, I did a lot of coverage of this in the $4 to $20 range. And that, of course, puts this community way ahead. And then what we've seen is just amazing strength. So like when you see projects that have this much strength, to me, it means that there's something special going on with Solana, AVAX, and Luna. Those are like the 3 horsemen of the non-Ethereum chains, right? So those chains, I think, will continue to have strength, right? Does that mean this is a good price? I don't know, but I see a general uptrend, right? That if the market continues in an uptrend, I believe will continue for these coins. So if you want something that might be a little more spicy, a little more saucy than Ethereum, then you should be looking at these 3 sort of big challengers. And one of the things I love is that you can farm 20% APY on Luna, on Anchor Protocol. I've talked about it a lot. I've done videos on it. It's just a beautiful thing. Okay, Avalanche the same, right? These 3 are just like, if you want to split a bag of ETH competitors and allocate to those on dumps, that's not a bad idea, right? I've not even remotely reached to sell any of my AVAX, any of my Joe. I have still a wide exposure to the Avalanche ecosystem. Next, let's get into the games. So on the whole, I want to explain something. Everybody thinks we just saw the gaming run. False. So false. Disgustingly false. Unbelievably ignorant, right? The gaming run will happen when the world's most powerful, most exciting, most fun games empower their users with NFTs, in-game economies, play to earn, and all of the bells and whistles of crypto. That's just it. There's no reality in my mind where this doesn't happen. And here's why. The gaming industry thrives on a free-to-play a model where essentially, here, let me free-to-play gaming revenue chart. Let me see if I can bring this up to you for you. A lot of you will probably know about this. Let me see if this one will do the trick. Yeah, here's one. Why not? So if we look at this chart, what we can see is that you have, oh gosh. Okay, so you have up here in the light blue, you have free to play, right? Is this right? So what you see here is that the vast majority of PC console gaming revenue, and this isn't a perfect chart, but it just shows you how much money is in free to play. Now, what it means when you have a free to play game is that you are paying nothing to play the game, but you're voluntarily choosing to buy stuff inside the game, digital stuff, digital assets, right? Whether it's a skin for my character, land, gems, whatever you want to call it. You're voluntarily choosing to buy stuff in the game that makes your experience better, right? You're buying a possession in a digital world that exists purely digitally. There is no other industry on Earth, you could say NFTs, but let's talk about realistically. Throw crypto away. Where else on earth are people buying digital assets at scale to the tune of $100+ billion a year? It doesn't exist. It does not exist. Gaming already has perfect product market fit, meaning that the users are already doing this behavior at scale across the world. So when I say that the gaming run hasn't begun, it's because the $100 billion being spent here is pretty much 0% on crypto gaming so far. But once players realize that this benefits them, that this is only a positive to them, because some games will be, there's an assumption from the gaming world that all video games with NFTs will be pay to win, so that you won't have this fair, enjoyable interaction, that you'll just have rich people coming in and owning the fun. That's one very short-term model. Most of the most profitable games, Fortnite, Dota, League of Legends, etc. By the way, shout out to Arcane. I love that show. Most of those, all of those games have a pure cosmetic approach. The most profitable game in the world does not sell any item that makes you better at the game. There's no stat boost in Fortnite, right? It's the biggest digital asset store in the world, Fortnite. And they don't sell anything that boosts your stats. So what we see is that cosmetic upgrades are a huge part of our digital future. And that, in my opinion, making them NFTs is only a positive for the user. I don't even think that is an opinion. I think that's a fact, right? Because you give someone ownership over something instead of a rental for the same amount of money, or maybe a different amount of money. Who knows? But the reality is that this is an undeniable fact. So once you understand why this is big, it's not just because I think gaming's good fit for crypto. The numbers are there. The data is there. It is undeniable. It's scientific. This is going to be NFT revenue. And just like when everything comes into crypto, it will have this wild expansion of value. So going back, that's why I believe we have not seen the gaming run. That's why I know for sure that all of this new capital being injected into video games is just the tip of the iceberg. And I am YOLO long on the gaming industry, because I believe that those ecosystems, not all of them, many of them will fail, but the ones that succeed will crush it in a way that we have never seen a crypto project crush it. It will infiltrate and completely inject itself into modern popular culture, into Gen Z, into all of the ways that we know new digital stuff grows. So let's get to the coins. PYR. We've talked about this several times. The cool thing about Vulcan Forged, not cool for them, obviously, they had some exploit or hack. I don't actually remember all the details. I haven't looked into all the details, but from what I could tell, this was not related to a mistake made by them. But nonetheless, there's been a massive dumping of the token by the hacker. And so we get this massive fire sale where we're down, what is this? We're down negative 55% from the all-time high. Not too shabby for a full game studio that's cranking out real playable games. Go check them out. Go play them for yourself. This is another thing. Let's talk about this before I go too deep. All y'all don't want to play the games, and I don't know why. Video games are not a pain to play. It's fun. Go play. It's not a big deal, right? And so what I suggest you do is you go down the list and you figure out what you can play and go play it and see if you have fun, right? Like, I'm not going to FUD a project, but I played a lot of these games over the last few weeks, and a lot of them are trash, right? A lot of them are garbage. I wouldn't come back and play for the gameplay. Maybe I'd grind to go earn some coins, but I'm really looking for those games that are fun, because that is the opportunity to expand the audience to billions of new people, billions, right? And so that's kind of where that's where my head's at. So PYR is interesting. Again, you guys need to understand, by the way, that any one of these tokens could tank 90 to 100%. This is a hugely risky market. I just want to keep that drilled into your head. You shouldn't be putting all your money into one exotic gaming coin. These are the high risk, high reward plays that you want to be allocating small amounts of money that aren't going to ruin your life to these projects in case they do dump, which they will. 80, 90, 50, whatever percent. And if that's a ruin your life amount of money, then you're not going to be able to do the thing you need to do, which might be hold or buy more, average down. You're not going to be able to do that because you've overinvested by a lot, as Howard Rocknick would say. Okay, Sandbox. The reason why I'm showing this chart is because look at this. Look at this trend. We had a peak. We had a relief rally where we saw a bunch of distribution. Then we've been in distribution. Every peak is met with a big sell-off, except for boom, we get finally a pump here that gets us up to above all of these past peaks, right? So for all of the previous, pretty much the entire month of December, we haven't seen a price this high since December 4th. Let me see where we're at right now. Let me refresh the page. And look at this. Yeah, so you see it's up and away now because people are seeing it as a breakout. So am I telling you to ape into Sandbox? No, I told you to ape into Sandbox at 50 cents back in the summertime, right? And if you miss that, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have some allocation to Sandbox. It's a good project, right? I'm going to put on the air so I don't sweat too much in front of all you. Doesn't mean you shouldn't allocate to Sandbox because it's a great project. By the way, there's 5,555 people in here. And on that magical angel number, I want to say there's 2,000 of you. Why does it have to be the case? There's 2,000 of you that have not liked the video. If you like the video, like the video. There's so much, it's so much information here. Come on. Okay. So, what I want to say here is that you shouldn't be going in on all in on something that's just gone absolutely parabolic. We also have a fully diluted valuation of 18 billion. So realistically, I mean, how much higher could this go? Like 5x from here, and then you're at 100 billion. So keep that in mind. We're at pretty kooky kind of like Facebook, Apple, Google type level numbers, as it starts to grow from here. Now, do you want to be allocated to the projects that are proven winners? Yes, because there's a chance that maybe Sandbox is this big network effect that has a Fortnite-like audience at one point, a Roblox of the blockchain. Who knows? But what I can tell you right now is that having seen how this works, Sandbox is like a thermometer for the gaming industry as a whole, just like Axie Infinity, Sandbox, and Gala. Axie, Sandbox, Gala, maybe Illuvium. These are ones that show you general sentiment, right? So what we're seeing is that there's a big bounce sentiment here. And does this mean that the bull market's fully resumed up only? No, but it does feel to me like maybe the worst is over. Like maybe this dip down to the 450 area, maybe we're not going to see that again. We might see, fives again, but I doubt we see these 450s again, at least until we get a proper bear market. So with that in mind, understanding that Sandbox is showing that the gaming side of things is looking healthy again. It looks like there's interest again. And remember, I told you, there is no other industry that works for crypto like gaming does in 2021, 2022, maybe in 2030 there is, but in 2020s, I believe it's the decade of gaming for crypto. And there is just no changing my mind, period. So as you go through this particular chart, I want you to check out the games, try to play as much of them as you can, and understand that these top ones will be your sort of majors that indicate the general health of the market. Okay. Here's one that I haven't talked about much because it was so overhyped at the beginning. And once you see the chart, you can see why. Well, it had this massive pump and then a massive dump, and it's sitting currently at about negative 40%. But what they did is they actually launched with this sort of open-ended fundraise on FTX. They ended up raising $100 million. So they also put out a recent update. Their game looks playable from what I can tell. And so what's actually really interesting to see is this seems like they're going to have a playable game. And quite frankly, the FDV is high, 1.3B, but it's not insane. As we could see, it could go 15x and still not be as high as Sandbox, right? So there's a lot of room for growth here, as well, a playable game, and maybe more, it's a different kind of game. Like I actually like the auto battler, the auto chess style gameplay that Aurory's doing, although it does have a smaller potential sort of market. So even at a circulating market cap of 129, who knows? I think Aurory is, as you see here, it's bottomed here around the $12 mark several times, right? It had once here in October, once here in November, and we can see that it doesn't really want to go below that 12.3, right? And so the chart sort of seems like, hey, this is as far as risk reward, given the fact that we know they're super well funded, given the fact that we know that they have playable gaming content, given the fact that the chart looks like it doesn't want to go much lower, and it's not exactly peak FOMO season, Aurory is on my shopping list, right? Does that mean I'm aping on all at once? No. And that's another topic. Let's talk a little bit about how to allocate, because I'm jumping a little bit back and forth, stream of consciousness here. You don't buy your whole position all at once. Because if you buy your whole position all at once, then if the market goes down, can you dollar cost average down? No, right? You're essentially, you're taking a time risk. You're taking a time-based risk. That is, if you don't have the ability to buy lower, then you have no ability to buy the dip or to potentially get a better entry. So you're just betting that effectively you need to go up from here. So take chunks, buy in 10%, 20% at a time, and decide how much you're going to buy in, and then spread your bets out and maybe even wait for a dip, right? So if you bought in all of your coins up here, you wouldn't have anything to buy in down here. Just think about it that way. So Aurory is an interesting one for sure to consider now. UFO, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of UFO. I just spoke with the team earlier. I think that they're going to have some really cool stuff coming out. I like they're a scrappy team. They're really interested in just pushing stuff out really fast. And what I like about the chart as well is if you look at this chart, it really seems like this sort of 2000, I don't know, 2000, whatever. I'm just going to call it 2000 because the numbers are too small. This 2000 level seems kind of resilient, much in the way this 200 level kind of seemed resilient back here. We see that it bases off it in August, and then again in September, and again in late September, and then we grow from here. And I was really shouting out UFO in these valleys right here. And again, when you see here that the chart has just had all of these tests down to this level of 2000, it goes, all right, well, the chart doesn't really want to go down to that $2,000 level. So, or 2000 whatever level. So it's a fraction of a penny. That's why I'm saying it like that. So UFO, again, it had this blow off here. And it's again, looking like there's some R&R to be had here, right? And again, I told you guys when it was first up here at about 2000, I said, if it does, another few X's, I'm going to take some profits. So again, I'm not ever going to say when I take profits on a coin, I did take a little bit of profits up here on UFO. And I want you guys to take some stock here and understand that when you get a 5X or a 10X or something like that. And again, we were talking about UFO down at like 20, 30, at this point, it was over 50X ago that we were talking about UFO. If any of you are sitting on anything close to a 50X, I'm going to beat you with my slipper if you don't take some profits, because most of you don't know how, most of you can't afford not to take those profits. So please God, take profits. Sidus. This is another one. I am an investor in Sidus. I hold a lot of Sidus. I hold every coin we've talked about today. Just to be clear, I hold every coin because if I believe in a project enough to tell it to you guys, I believe I should be putting my money where my mouth is, right? Sidus, I was a pre-sale investor in this one. So I did not buy in at these prices. But observing the chart, Sidus launched in a pretty weak market. And for a game as high quality as Sidus, I want to point out a few things that you should have on your radar here. One, the peak volume here was 22 million. That is very low for a hyped launch in 2021. Hyped launches in 2021 are doing 9-figure volume, 100, 200 plus $1 million, right? That's not what we saw here. Also, we see a fully diluted valuation again at about 2.2. Again, remember, Sandbox is almost 20. Axie Infinity got to like 40. So there's definitely, while this should be crazy to have a $2 billion valuation for an unlaunched game, in this particular weird world we're in, there is still room for growth. And look, there's just super low volume here. In my opinion, this starts dumping meaningfully, and I'm not saying it will because of this next piece of data, but if this thing starts dumping meaningfully, I do have confidence in this team. There's no way to know exactly what a human will do in a given scenario, but I will tell you that this team seems super, super legit. And that trailer that they put out is a very strong indication of how legit they are. So if this thing starts dumping down, I think there's an opportunity. Small amount of tokens circulating. There's a market cap. Oh, it doesn't have it, but I think there's only 5% of tokens circulating. So it's very early in the life cycle here, but I will share with you the unlock schedule is something like 2 years long. So it's a very slow unlock schedule. Should soften the blow of new tokens coming into the market. That said, I do think if we get a big gaming run, Sidus will start to show itself as a strong project. Or when we get a gaming run, I'm a strong believer we will. Where else? Oh yeah. Finally, I wanted to talk about this, which is if you go to the markets tab, you can see it's only listed on Gate.io, which is not a top tier exchange. It's not listed on DEX. There's very low accessibility for this project so far. So maybe that'll mean it'll dump when it comes onto other exchanges. Maybe it'll mean it'll pump, but just know as it starts to get listed on other exchanges, opportunities, will arise. And I believe that this is, for a lot of reasons, something you should be taking a hard look at. But understand 2.2 billion is very high. But unfortunately, right now, we're not living in normal land, and we're not living in anything that makes really cognitive sense on valuations. So in this world, could this thing continue to grow? I do believe it could, just like Aurora, right? Because they have real games, right? Real games to me that seem fun to play. That's the stuff I want to be long, right? Because there's no model for a true crypto game at scale, at network scale. There's no mental model for it. There's no logic on what should or shouldn't be the market cap. Okay. Star Atlas. Again, what we've said is, hey, look, we were talking about it again in here. After talking about it here as it was bottoming after this big cool off, we said definitely don't buy it up here. we're saying, hey, look at these lows. You want to see if you can snipe lows. Again, this feels quite dumpy. It feels like it's probably not going to want to go too much lower than this 9 cents. It definitely didn't want to revisit that 7 cents again back in October. I'm not saying I know the future, but I'm saying Star Atlas risk reward is starting to shape up again. Again, 3.3 or 3.9 FTV, not amazing, pretty big. But when you compare it to things like Axie Infinity, when it has this really high budget looking game, there might be something there. Again, I just want to point out to you the different ways that you can view these markets. Now, of course, what I want to say is that the biggest opportunities will be none of the coins I mentioned here. The biggest opportunities will be coins that are not yet trading at massive valuations and that have interesting gameplay. Not every good game with interesting gameplay is going to have a massive valuation. And the way that you can get ahead of these things is by actually going in, getting your hands dirty and playing these games, right? This is something I can't stress enough. And so the coins I laid out for you are some of the better R&R, meaning that they're bigger caps, they're unlikely to completely disintegrate into dust, and that you'll have some time to react to the market if they do. They won't just go negative 60% in a day. But talking about some other projects in the space that I am interested in, I did invest in the Big Time Land Sale. This is a fantastic project, been covering it on this channel for a while. I think it's a phenomenal project. And I was able to actually participate in a game test. So I've seen this one play. It's like a World of Warcraft, but like new and an Unreal Engine. And yeah, it's got all the characteristics you like to see, right? The founder helped found and create Decentraland as well. And then he had the same realization that I had back in 2018, which is the games need to come first before the metaverses. So that's why we'll see gaming take the lead over metaverse at the beginning. And then finally, this one, Heroes of Mavia. It's got a Clash of Clans kind of vibe to it. Very interesting. I saw a research report that came out of Neo Tokyo. This is one of the other benefits. And I don't want this to seem like there's no sort of coordinated buying efforts going on in Neo Tokyo. I want to make very clear that like there are discords that say, hey, come into this discord and we'll give you alpha and you can buy stuff cheap and we all buy together. That's not the energy in Neo Tokyo. Neo Tokyo is about value adds, long-term contribution, and building the metaverse. And what we have is an incredibly talented group of people in Neo Tokyo doing research like they've done on Mavia, where I actually got a gorgeous, beautiful PDF that came out of the Neo Tokyo Research Lab detailing why Mavia was a very interesting project. I wouldn't have even had this on my radar given how low-key their Twitter is and everything here. It's really hard to discern all this, but we had some really smart people dig into it and create the most gorgeous PDF one sheet, which I'm not going to share with you guys because I don't think it's fair to leak information from inside the Citadel. But I just want you guys to understand that like there's a really talented group of people in Neo Tokyo, the smartest group of people I've ever seen. And it's very amazing to see the information that is created and shared in there. Very amazing. So that's one of the benefits of being part of Neo Tokyo is just being around other smart people. Okay, finally, I just want to remind you guys, we have the Neo Tokyo tournament coming up. This is going to be huge. If you guys know any gamers, make sure to tap them. We've already had so many Fortnite pros and other types of pros get involved. Literally a brand as big as G Fuel, Animoca, Twitch. What more do you want? Are you not entertained here? Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? I see some comments, of course, talking about SuperFarm. Y'all. I'm so excited to show you the game. And we've just been working on the trailer. It's going a little slower than I wanted, but it is coming. And I am beyond thrilled. For those people who want price predictions and stuff out of the token for SuperFarm, I'm not allowed to do that. Other people are allowed to do that. Go do it. Knock yourself out. I, as the founder, am not allowed to talk about price for that project. So for people who are aching for me to do that, I can't do that. You're welcome to do that. The reality is that the marketplace and game are coming out, and I believe they're both industry leading, and I believe you're going to be very excited about what's happening there. Okay, let's hop into some comments in the chat right now, and go ahead and just interact here. It's the holiday time. We're giving away money. The market's bouncing. The world is spinning on its right axis, and I hope you guys are as excited as I am. THG, is this Thetan? Yeah, Thetan is good. It's really high valued, right? Oh yeah, it came way down. Okay, yeah. So I was saying this because it was up here at like, what was it? I think it was up here at like wild high valuation. Yeah. Okay, cool. It was. I thought it was up at like 16 billion or something like that, or 11 billion market cap. Okay, it doesn't show market cap. But the fully diluted was like, it was wild. So if this is one, it's down 60. You're going to see me do some very poor math here. 65%. That means that this is 35%. So yeah, it was up at like $11 billion. And so that's when I was like, I don't know. It's definitely a playable game, but go play the game. Tell me what you guys think about it. I think it's cute. I think the art's cute, but I really think you guys just need to play games. If you want to know the truth or fiction of if a game's good, go play a game. I do see a lot of people talking about DeFi Kingdoms, which is a game on Harmony. DFK is pumping, and that's because it's just like purely an economic game, really. DFK, whoa, what the heck? Why is this chart like this? People got, wait, is this right? No, this is not right. This is the wrong chart. This is the wrong chart. DeFi Kingdoms, is it Jewel? DeFi Kingdoms Jewel. Okay, yeah, there we go. So this one is one that I got put onto by Ansem, who's a Twitter persona that I absolutely love. He's a great trader. He's also playing this game like what feels like with a lot of his time. And this stuff is very interesting when you see big sort of, very rational traders get obsessed with these economic based games, something there. And we've seen a pump about 4x from Jewel. He called out that this is going to be just like his Solana call a year ago. Is this going 100x? I don't know. But at 47 million trading volume at it is 7 billion fully diluted. Is that the case? That's pretty high. 343 million. Who knows? Maybe there's some upside here. Just have it on your radar. Again, maybe what I'd suggest is play the game and see if you like it. This is what I can say. Play the game, see if you like it, right? Because if it gives you a feeling, then that's the first thing, right? And if it gets you hooked, then that's a big deal, right? A lot of these games won't hook you. Let's go ahead and jump back into the comments. Sorry, can't speak. What's my take on Jack and Elon Twitter rants about Web3 VC? This is a great question. One that I've wanted to rant about, but the truth is I really like Jack. Like I really like, I'm a Jack Maxi. I'm a Jaxi. I think he's smart. I think he's like a really good, I think he's had a really like amazing effect on the world, Jack. I also find his commentary on Web3 almost like he's jealous of Elon getting to troll everyone. And now that he's not Twitter CEO and he's not being held by this board, with duct tape over his mouth, he's like getting to be a memer again. I consider him high intelligence, and most people with high intelligence usually like to troll. They like to meme. They like to have fun. They have a sense of humor. So this is one he tweeted. And what I wanted to say, what I wanted to say to him was, response was, now do Web 2. Now do Web 2. Because the reality is that this graphic has 0 drops for retail in Web 2. Now, is it a fair critique that some Silicon Valley VCs are soaking up all of crypto? Yeah, it's a fair critique. What's also the case with crypto is that as soon as something really works, take MakerDAO, take anything that's heavily VC controlled, like you see with NFTs on Dapper Labs with the NBA deal or whatever the heck it might be, you see other non-VC controlled projects hop in and copy it and end up creating success in a totally decentralized world. So all this VC stuff, in my opinion, is fairly temporary. It's like the VCs are supporting the testing grounds. And once something really starts working, other people will create more fair launch versions of them, and there will be tons of opportunities for retail. In the end, this drizzle of retail opportunities is way better than what we got in the previous world. So that's just something that you just really need to understand, is that while it is true that Silicon Valley VCs are doing a lot, the reality is that it is way, way better than what we've seen. I also thought it was really interesting because where is this? He's trolling Beanie. Which shows that he's actually following this NFT stuff, which is quite interesting because Beanie's pretty small account in the larger scope of Twitter, which means he's probably following or at least tracking some stuff here on this channel. I don't know if that's the case. He says here again, VCs are the problem, not the people. And he says, and then CZ says blockchain fixes it, global fundraising from the people, and Jack says words. So he's not anti Web3, right? He's giving some concessions here. I think he's I think he's trying to start a dialogue, right? If you ask me, I think Jack's trying to start a dialogue, and I don't think he hates Web3. I think he's literally just kind of trolling to try to create dialogue, right? If I was to say what's the Gigabrain move, you might also be bored, right? A bored billionaire. I mean, this guy's at home just going between sauna and cold tub. Maybe he's just doing this for entertainment, right? Maybe he and Elon are just trying to have fun. Like, what's to say that just because you're a billionaire, you don't get to have fun? Like, you know, I feel like there's an expectation that they just sit on their hands and, like, you know, they're not politicians, right? Where is this? Finally. Where is this final one? Okay, yeah. Okay. So where is it? Essentially, he talks about he has VCs from all of his companies. People were calling him out. They're like, every one of your companies has VCs. And he was like, yeah, we had VCs, but they were chill or something like that. I don't know. I can't find the tweet. Anyway, the point is he talked about how he has VCs in Square and Twitter and all that stuff, but they knew their place or something. Anyway, in my opinion, I don't think Jack has a clear stance here. I think he thinks Bitcoin is the most censorship resistance without a clear single point of failure. And I think that that's a very salient point, and that's a very important use of blockchain. I think Ethereum is pretty close to that and is making its way there. But the reality is that I don't think Jack is anti-Web3. He's certainly not anti-new tech. He acquired title to do Spotify, or he acquired title to do music NFTs and music industry stuff. I would be shocked if Jack doesn't go down as one of the best crypto innovators in history. And I would be shocked if he doesn't put out a blockchain-based application in the future that is very, very much so something that we all are very happy with. So that's what I'll say is Jack, I think, is going to make huge contributions to the space. I think the trolling and the poop flinging is just kind of a conversation starter. Because if you actually go through all of his comments, there's some contradiction there. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Jack. All I can say is I'm a Jack fan. I don't think he's a bad actor at all. Some low quality shills in the super chats. I apologize. I'm not going to read those. Words. Elio Trades Crypto. Shout out to you, Denise P. Will we be able to play in the Neo Tokyo tournament? Yes, you will be able to. Yes, you will be able to. All right, let's hop in and find some final chats here. We have been streaming for 56 minutes, so we'll round it out at an hour. I don't know about Dream Quest yet. I'll check it out. Yes, Sipher's sick. I'm an investor in Sipher. Love that project. Absolutely love Sipher. They are very, 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 very cool. Let me see where have they done their token yet? Sipher. Yes, they have. Looks like they have. Is it brand new? This one? I don't know. Is this Sipher? They already done it. Let's see. Where is the information? There we go. Yeah, this is it. This one's sick. This one's super, super sick. Very, 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 very cool. So they raised 10,000 ETH, $40 million. Holy smokes. And yeah, no, an amazing project. Very well funded. Gameplay looks great. I'm an investor holding big bags. Full disclosure, I invested in the pre-sale. So I'm not sure what the exact price was, but I'm excited about what they're doing, and it looks like they're on a pretty nice dumperoo here. So, you know, like when things come down here, if it comes back down here and touches, you'll see, okay, well, maybe there's strength here around 70 cents. Again, the FDV is sitting at, oh, it's only 39 mil market cap with an FDV of under $1 billion. That's the best risk reward setup we've seen. So that's not a bad one to keep your eyes on. Sipher is definitely one that I am a fan of. I'm invested into. Thank you for shouting that out. And look, this particular setup here is way better than what we've seen in the other ones for a game that looks, I mean, they're all of equal quality to me right now, to be honest. They're all, it's hard to tell until you've played them extensively what the better game is, what's more likely to get sort of global traction. So somebody asked for a SuperFarm update for their Christmas gift. We're going to be leaking some little previews of the marketplace, and this is the marketplace beta that we're leaking. The marketplace beta is very, very awesome, but there is a full product coming very soon that is something I'm very proud of. We're going to be doing a lot of marketing and sort of thought leadership about it. But the world needs a marketplace that is DAO owned, community run, and has no middleman taking all the fees. The community should own the marketplace. I believe that that is the true killer app of the NFT marketplace. The NFT marketplace is a public good, right? It should be completely controlled by the public. So, I absolutely love OpenSea. They've completely enabled a revolution of NFTs. No shade on them. But the goal is to take what they've done and to deliver a product that is truly user-centric and community-centric. It is going to be the polar opposite of Coinbase NFT. It is going to be the polar opposite of what you've seen with other NFT marketplaces. And then we also have the video game Imposters coming out. The gameplay loop is super, super fun. The fun aspect of Imposters, I believe, is something that is going to be industry leading. So that's the update from SuperFarm. And we have a bunch of marketing queued up, so I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, I've been killing myself to get these products and these teams moved along at the quality they deserve for the project like Super. So yeah, I'm beyond thrilled. There is everything I'm focused on right now is getting these projects out to you guys. And I think you'll understand once they come out what we're doing here and why this is totally different than what you've seen from other projects, and why this ecosystem is going to be the core of the metaverse, why the projects and the products we've decided to focus on are the best first steps. I'm very, very excited. And to be honest, we have this just insane community. You guys know it. We come into the Neo Tokyo, the Elio Trades Discords, the soon to be launched SuperFarm Discords. You'll see that the passion in these communities is totally unmatched. And so I'm very, very excited to combine the most important thing, which is community, with these amazing products that we have been working on. I also don't talk about this very often because I think it's kind of like old news. But I'm not going to talk about this. I'll talk about that in a future episode. I'm going to cut that one off. I have more unreleased behind the scenes stuff for you in the future. Anyway, I just want to say a big thank you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Make sure that you go and retweet my tweet on Twitter and comment if you want to win $1,000. As always, I highly encourage you to have the bell notification on because we're doing time-sensitive content, not just updates on coins that have huge, huge upside and keeping you understanding how to navigate this industry. But more importantly, I'm doing treasure hunts because I want this community to have constant opportunities to get ahead in crypto, just like there are airdrops, just like there are opportunities to get big wins with in this particular case, zero risk from you except for taking your time. I want that to be part of this community, to be built in and to be promoting people who are smart, who are nimble, who are excited, who know how to research, who want to value add to this industry. I want to help you get ahead. So if that's you, then all you have to do is have that notification bell on for my Twitter and for my YouTube. And I'm going to be giving away wild prize. $15,000 was just the first one. And that's a lot. That's like a car, right? And we just did it on Twitter, right? There was no big no big circus around it. So I'm going to be doing a lot more. I'm actually going to be leaning into this and wanting this channel to become completely interactive. So make sure you have that bell notification on. There's going to be huge opportunities. Big love. Happy holidays. And I'll see you very soon on the next episode.